All right, Pac-Manians, here we are back with the third page. I have already taken the liberty of measuring these off for us because I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of time. So these are 6 centimeters long on both sides and 9 centimeters long on both sides there. So what we could do is mark these with 1 dash and these with 2 dashes to show that they are congruent, which means that they are the same. Excellent. So use quadrilateral ABCD to answer the question. Complete the sentence. Measure the sides, which we did, I did. Are any of the sides congruent? Yes, right? Because I've got these sides are congruent and these sides are congruent. Opposite sides are congruent. We call these adjacent sides. These are opposite sides. How many right angles, if any, does the quadrilateral have? Does it have any right angles? Do you see any perpendicular lines where they come straight in? No. And do we see any little boxes? No. So it has 0. How many pairs of parallel sides, if any, does the quadrilateral have? Well, we know that since these are all equal length, that these are parallel. They're never going to cross. And so that's 1 pair, 2 pairs. So it's got 2 pairs. So quadrilateral ABCD is a what? Does it have right angles? No. So it can't be a square and it can't be a rectangle. Are all 4 sides congruent? No. Only opposite sides are congruent. So this is a parallelogram. All right, it's got opposite sides that are congruent and they're parallel. All right, classify each quadrilateral in as many ways as possible. So we're gonna write quad, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square, or trapezoid. So these are actually always kind of fun for me. So I look at it. Is it gonna be a quad? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's definitely a quad. I just write quad because quadrilateral is long. Is it a parallelogram? Well, how do I know? Are opposite sides congruent? Yes. Are they opposite sides parallel? Yeah, so this is a parallelogram. Okay, is it a rectangle? Does it have 90-degree angles? It does, so it's a rectangle. Okay, now, is it a rhombus? No, it's not a rhombus, right? Because opposite sides are congruent, but not all 4 sides. And if it's not a rhombus, it's definitely not a square. And if it's a parallelogram, it sure is not a trapezoid. So we're done. How about this one? Is it a quadrilateral? Does it have 4 sides? Yeah, quad. I mean, the whole thing's on quadrilaterals, so we know it's probably going to be a quad. All right. Is it a parallelogram? Now, are opposite sides congruent? These are, but these are not. And so I know something's up already. It has 1 set of parallel sides, so this is obviously a trapezoid. Okay, this is still a question now. Can parallel sides of a trapezoid be the same length? The parallel sides, so this side and this side. And the answer to that is, what do you think? Answer to that's no. If this was longer, then these would have to be the same length. No matter, I mean, if they were the same length and I put them right here, think about a rectangle. If I have a rectangle and these sides are the same length, right? And then so my lines would come straight down, right? If their top and bottom were the same length. And if I squished it like that, I would get a parallelogram, right? Because the lengths would have to be the same. You can't change the lengths. So the answer to that would be no. Maybe I have to rewatch that one. Okay, so let's take a look down here. What do we got? Look, every time I see that, what's that? That's a square. All congruent sides, 90-degree angles. So I know it's everything except a trapezoid. So I'm gonna write down here, all but trapezoid. Okay, it's not a trapezoid because it has 2 sets of parallel sides. So look at this one. We've got some 90-degree angles, but there's 2 of them. That's kind of strange. Generally, you have 4. Okay, and looks like this side and this side are not parallel, but this side and this side are parallel. So if I have 1 set of parallel sides, what must it be? That's trapezoid. That one makes it easy, and it's also a quad because there's 4 sides. So quad and a quad trap. How about this one? It looks like a what shape? It's a diamond, right? So if I see a diamond, I know it's a quad. There's 4 sides. I'm gonna write quad. Okay. Is it a parallelogram? Absolutely. Opposite sides are congruent, so they're parallel. Okay. Is it a rectangle? How do you know it's not? No right angles. Perfect. So that's not a, it's not a rectangle. Is it a rhombus? All four sides are congruent. So this is a rhombus. Now it's a rhombus. Does that make it a square? No, a square is a rhombus, but a rhombus isn't always a square, right? Like on the last page, because there's no right angles. So boom, that's out. And is it a trapezoid? Well, if it's a parallelogram, it's definitely not a trapezoid, right? All right. And the last one, does it have four sides? Yes, it's a quad. Are the opposite sides congruent? Yes, so that makes it a parallelogram, because if they're congruent, that means they're going to be parallel. Parallelogram. I honestly just forgot how to spell. Okay, good. I'm not off. All right. Parallelogram. That's such a long word. All right. And is it a rectangle? No. Why? Because there's no 90-degree angles. Is it a rhombus? No, because only the opposite sides are congruent, not all four sides. Is it a square? Well, if it's not those other two things, you know it's not a square. And is it a trapezoid? If it's a parallelogram, it can't be a trapezoid. All right. That's that page. Coming back with the next.